What's up, guys? I got my saber right here all chopped up, and one thing I forgot to do, which I was going to get back to in the event that it happened, and it did happen, is I forgot to re-Loctite everything. So when I first originally took this thing apart, the barrel had Loctite on it, and the screws that secure it all together had Loctite on it, and I've been putting it off from doing it. I'm going to see if this fixes the issue I'm having with the farting and stuff. When I disassembled all this fun stuff right here, the screws that hold it together, these main pieces, this pin is fine. Does not look like I'm not getting that motion in the ocean. It's not moving around too much. It's moving around a little bit. You can kind of see that lift back here. It's moving around a little bit. I haven't taken that apart to inspect it. It's kind of hard to get to those pins. So I'm going to Loctite it really, really lightly, like very light. And I'm also using the blue stuff. So you don't want to use the red stuff because then you'll permanently put it all back together, and like it won't be easy to take that apart, or you'll just end up stripping a bunch of screws and messing up your saber. What I've done to this so far is I've drilled out this restrictor in the back of the valve, this thing. I drilled it out to 1 millimeter using a stepped drill bit kit that I have. You shouldn't need to Loctite this thing onto the back. I just, at the time, I thought there was a leak back here, but it was actually the sear not resetting correctly, and that was causing the farting and stuff. That was, a month or two ago, and this is not the current issue. So this was very small. Before I chopped it to 1 millimeter, it was probably like 0.5 millimeters, or it was very small. Like it would be hard to fit like a sewing needle through the size that it was. Once I did this, it gets like, it used to get like 21, 22 joules with the heavy ammo on a hot day, the best it would perform when it was stock out the box. Now it's getting about 27 with Grimberg Joule V3s. While I was taking this apart, I checked to see if it's lubed up, and it seems fine. Like it's not excessively lubed, but it has enough on it currently. So I usually just hand tighten this valve part down. Like I said, there's plenty of lube on this. There's good lube on this, but I do want to Loctite these screws that connect all these pieces together, because that's how it was originally. So I'm gonna put, this on. The shorter screws go here, the longer screws right there go into the valve, and it fits like this. And then there's an O-ring you have to be mindful of. And then all the little short screws up here are countersunk, and they go on the top plate. So when I took this apart, all of them are sort of loose, and I feel like that's probably why my sear's not grabbing, because just that little bit of looseness was making it go down too far and probably not catch the bolt, because it's not really catching very much. And if both sides are slightly off, just that little bit that it was loose is probably making it fart and stuff. So I'm going to reassemble it and stuff. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to put 1 drop of the blue Loctite on these screws, and then pop them into the appropriate area where they go. I just need to get rid of all this Teflon tape I tried to use instead of thread locker, which the Teflon tape didn't really work that well. I think just because it's so lightweight, and it shakes around too much to have these like stay locked in. I'm pretty sure that's probably why it was thread locked. It wasn't too strong of a thread locker, but there was thread lock on it regardless. So these are going to go here. The longer ones that are right there are going to go here. I'm going to do all this. I'll be right back. I'll just show you guys how much I'm putting on here. So I'm only putting like one small drop on each of these screws, because the chances are I'm probably going to have to take this apart again. I just don't want to have a bunch of it on there and then I have to use the heat gun and stuff, which I probably will do anyways, but I'm just putting like that little bit. That's all I'm putting on each screw. All right, first screw is in, next screw, one little dab, and then I'm going to put it in right here. All right, so that one's in. I'm tightening them down just till they stop and just doing just a tiny bit more. This is aluminum, so you'll strip it really easily. And they don't sell parts for this, and you can't buy parts for it, and you can't send it in to Sabre to get it fixed if you've fiddled around with it like how I have. They'll just tell you no, because that's what they did to me. So, yeah, I'm just cleaning this off as best as I can, and then gonna put the valve back and make sure everything lines up, make sure my little O-ring's in there, put the spring back, and flip it over, line it up. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna get the thread locker and I'll be right back. So there's just that little bit. I'm gonna put it onto the appropriate area. All right, next screw, I put that first one in there. Next one's going in. And then they all have flat washers. They do not have lock washers. But like I said, I'm just putting this in. I'm gonna wait like a couple days before I shoot this, just to make sure that that thread locker sets well. All right, so now that that bottom is done, this is the bottom half. Those are the 4 screws. Now I'm gonna do the top. These are the shorter screws. They're countersunk. The other ones have a like a pan head or a round head on them, and they are flat on the bottom. So these screws are short and they're countersunk. So all of these go on the top. So I'm just going to put one little drop of thread locker on all of them and then screw them in. You can put them in any order. They're all the same length and they're all the same thread pitch and all that. So I'll be right back. All right, you guys, this is the last screw for the top part. A little dab of blue thread locker on all of them. You always want to reverse thread, and then once you hear the click, start actually tightening it down. So this is good. This is good. This one's chilling, and this one's chilling. So yeah, it's Thursday at 8:30. I'm probably not going to use this till like Sunday or Monday even, just to make sure it's all good. When I took the barrel off, I got my squeegee and cleaned it out because it was pretty gross in there. And even though I've shot a bunch of aluminum balls and you name it, there's no scratches in here at all. And you guys have seen all the videos I've made with this Sabre thing. No scratches. There's rifling in here, and you can see it. Yeah, I don't see any like crazy gouges or nothing. That's all rifling, those little thin lines. So seems like it's fine. I haven't had any issues with the alien plate aluminum balls leaving crazy scars or anything in any of the barrels that I have for anything. But yeah, I'm just gonna put some thread lock around the front part. I don't want to put any at the beginning because there's a sealing O-ring in the breech, and just gonna try to get this crap out of here. This is all old Teflon tape, which didn't really like hold that well. It didn't keep it from shaking loose or vibrating loose. So yeah, there's an O-ring in there. I've never taken that out. I don't think I have to. It should be fine. But yeah, I'm gonna put a little bit of a thread lock on this. I'll probably put like 2 drops on it. See how it holds up. So there's 1 and here's 2. So I'm just gonna put this in here and start threading it. So there wasn't that much on the barrel. It was actually pretty easy to remove. The first time I took this thing apart, it was pretty easy to remove it. It had like this gray white colored thread locker on these screws, and then it had like a red colored thread lock on the front. But it was very easy to remove it. I don't think it was permanent stuff. So now that I have that all back together, I'm gonna put the like firing unit thing back in here. I've been able to when I disassemble my Sabre, I've been able to take it apart without popping all these springs off and stuff. But there is a spring right here. It fits around the bottom pin of the trigger. There's a little like loophole right here. One side goes on the bottom edge of this plastic, and the other side wraps around the back of this trigger arm. The safety has a spring also. It loops around this part of the pin. You have to put tension on it down here and then get the back side of the spring to either come down with it or put it there beforehand and like put pressure. I've been lucky. I've taken this apart a bunch of times, and now that I've taken it apart more than once or twice, I feel like after the second time I took it apart, the stuff in here stopped moving around so much and it wasn't as tight as it used to be. So I can easily take this apart now and not have to like screw around with all these springs and stuff. The ones I always have to mess with is this trigger reset guide thing. It's just a spring on that plastic nub, and it always likes to pop out like that. And then the mag release, you always have to take that one out, and it's always going to be like the one that gives you the most issues reassembling and stuff. Yeah, so there's 2 pins on the trigger, 1 pin on the safety. I should have put the firing unit thing in there first before I messed with all that stuff, but it doesn't matter at this point. The housing of this rectangle piece, like the main firing like valve body assembly thing, it fits in the contours of this. So it fits like that in there. And you got to put your rear sight back on. And you just got to make sure that your safety goes down behind this plastic. So you can see that silver metal, it's behind the plastic on the Sabre. This part, so you can see it's like cut off right here, or like the plastic's overlapping. Just make sure it's behind there, and then it should do this. So I'm gonna get the rear sight that goes on the top up here, and we're pretty much good to go. It's really easy to take apart and reassemble. Once you do it the first time, second time it gets easier, third time it's super easy. And like I said, I've had really good luck not pulling all these springs off and all that once I take this apart. It's sort of like a Tip-X when you put it back, because you got to watch your mag release. Got to kind of line that up and go slow with it. You don't want to just like slam this on here, because the hardest part is getting the mag release to stay in the right spot, and then keeping the little trigger guard from resetting, or this trigger reset thing, keeping it there. You need that in there. It won't function correctly if you don't have it in there. And then sometimes the trigger pins are kind of a little bee to put it back together. But usually once it's about here, you could usually just snap it back. Like right now, it just snapped back together. Got a little bit of a seam going on back here that may be related to the safety. Yeah, so I'll be right back. All right, you guys. So my trigger spring thing popped off and I had to put it back. I have other videos on disassembling this thing. I haven't done like a complete like all-in-one video, but I think there's like 4 of them now that have like bits and pieces of how to take this apart. It's fairly simple after you do it the first time. There's 6 screws on the outside. This one is the shortest, the one on the handle, the one that I'm tightening down. I think this is a 2.5. My sizes got screwed up, so I think it's like 2.5, maybe a 2. I think it's 2.5 millimeter wrench. Everything in here is metric. aside from the Phillips head screws. So this is the shortest screw. I believe these two are the same length. These two are the same length. And this one's like an oddball one, just like this one. So these ones are their own length. And then, yeah, these top two on the barrel on the top are the same length. And the one above the trigger and the one behind the barrel are the longest screws. And I just keep them in a pile over here on the corner and in the same orientation of where they were when I disassembled it. It's pretty simple to put back together. There's when it goes back together, it like snaps and you know that it's back together. So now it's assembled. I'm gonna check the little metal slider thing in here to make sure that it's functioning correctly. Sorry, my camera's being stupid, but see that thing moving around in there? That's how it should be acting. If it's not doing that and getting stuck or not going at all, something's not right. But I figured out that when something's not right with that, it's because your pins that are in this housing, in the metal piece, that metal frame that I showed you guys, those are snapped or broken. So this is functioning correctly. Let me see if my mag loads. Mag loads fine. But yeah, I'm not going to shoot this. I need to give that thread lock stuff time to sit. So I'll give it like a few days. It only needs like maybe like an hour before it kind of like starts to cure, but I don't want to rush this. So there's no need at all to rush the thread lock setting because I have plenty of other less lethal options. It's just this is one of them that has kind of more recently been a thorn in my side. But yeah, it's mostly due to my own fault. Just rigging up error lines and stuff to it and not checking to make sure that the screws are tightened down. I think I shot all those videos I've done with this versus the TR68. I had never opened this up to check the screws to make sure that they're still tight. And yesterday is when I shot the big red tank, the big red CO2 tank with the airline on the bottom. That's the first time I shot it when I had issues. Because when I did the HPA test, I had no problems. When I did the other CO2 stress test like 2 weeks ago, I think, wasn't having any issues. But it's probably loosened up enough at this point after so many shots going through it, like, I don't know, 150 shots going through it. It probably needed to get tightened down, and that's probably what's going on, why it's farting and stuff. But yeah, I'll be using this in the future. It'll be, you know, a couple days. Like I said, I'm gonna let this chill for like 3 days probably, even though I could probably shoot it tomorrow night or like Sunday after or Saturday afternoon or something. I'll just give it some time to cure. So you guys have a good one, and if you have any questions or whatever, I have playlists on all my launchers now. So if you want to see anything Sabre related, just go to my channel, look in my playlists. There's music and other stuff, but I have playlists for the Sabre and for all the other stuff that I have. Most of it. I don't have playlists for the BB guns. Just for the A4P, just because I feel like that one's like a sort of popular, like it looks cool. But maybe I'll do them for the Glock 19 and all the other stuff I have. But for now, I have playlists for the 50 caliber things and the 68 caliber less lethal launchers and stuff like that. So you guys have a good one, and I'll see you next time.